Hi everybody, my name is Bree and welcome back to my channel, Bree's Arts. So today we're going to be doing some super neutral, high-end looking DIYs using mostly items from Dollarama with a few items from the Dollar Tree as well. These particular DIYs are pretty easy. And with that being said, let's just jump right into the first DIY. All right, DIY number one. So I have this little frame thing from the Dollar Tree, as well as this flower decoration that you can get in the spring section, along with these adhesive tiles from Dollarama. So what I'm going to do is just take off the little hanger pieces on each side of the flower with my pliers. They're really easy to remove. And then I'm just gonna kind of floof the flower up here so that I can get all of the paint underneath. And it gives it a little bit more dimension too. I will floof it when we are all finished as well. And taking my white chalk paint from Decor, we're just going to put a couple of coats on here to cover up all of that orange color. And the chalk paint works really well to cover all of this up. There is some texture on the flower too, so it stays pretty good. And then taking my chippy brush and light gray color from Folk Art as well, we're just going to distress it out a little bit, give it some dimension. Like I said, there is some texture on these flowers. So this just brings out that texture. And there's a little close-up of my dry brushing technique. You get some in the middle there too. I love these flowers. I just know I'm going to be using them on a ton of projects. I just think that they're so pretty. And now taking my frame and my little scraper razor thingy, we're going to take off that little sign that says chomp. Obviously we're not going to need that for this project. And removing all of the foam that was underneath as well. And again, taking my white chalk paint, give that a coat. I think actually two coats, just to cover up that dinosaur. And we're also going to paint the frame as well. Now the reason why I painted the inside was because just in case it wasn't completely square and I put that tile in, that none of that would show. And now I'm just distressing the outside of the frame just to make it look a little bit weathered. Give it more dimension, make it look old and worn. And there we go. All right, this beautiful tile from Dollarama. They have a ton of different colors and different shapes. This is like a herringbone shape, but I know that they have hexagons and they have just regular subway tiles and whatnot. So just lining that up. And I just have to kind of eyeball it because I know that these frames aren't completely square. So I'm just going to mark off where the outside of the frame is first. And then cut it down. I think I cut it a few times just to get it to fit right in there. Trial and error, just trial and error. And peeling off the backing, we are going to stick that tile right inside our frame, like a glove. Push it down along all the sides. There, look at that. And now the flower does have kind of like not a hole in the back, but it's kind of concaved. And so I'm taking one of these little craft blocks that you get at the Dollar Tree and just sticking that to the back with some hot glue. Probably use some super glue as well, just because hot glue doesn't necessarily stick to metal very well. And then we're just going to glue that into the center of our frame. And that little block also makes it pop out a little bit. And you guys, we are done. How easy is that? And it is so pretty. I just love it. Okay, DIY number 2. Now we are going to take 2 of these signs that you can get from the Dollar Tree. Now these ones are from Valentine's Day, but they're out in every season. I know that there were some St. Patrick's Day ones, some Easter ones. So we're just going to remove those burlap hearts on the front. And we are going to be using the back side of these frames. So I just removed the hanger and the staples that were holding the hanger on here. And I ended up actually cutting these down a little bit. I thought that they were a little bit too long, and then I wouldn't have to worry about the holes that the staples made at the very top there. So I just took my square from the Dollar Tree and my X-Acto knife. Now, I actually broke my X-Acto knife doing this. It was old, so I do have a new one now, which is awesome. But you just have to score it a whole bunch of times, and really you just have to pop it right off. I ended up having to use my rotary tool a little bit there just to get through that cardboard. But if you have a good X-Acto knife, it shouldn't be an issue. Mine was just old and pretty dull. You can see I'm going over it multiple times. Oh, and there's my little ladybug. Sucking up all the dust. I love that thing. It's just awesome. Okay, so again, with the white paint from Folk Art and a great big brush, we're going to paint the entire thing. It doesn't have to be full coverage. Again, we do like to have a little bit of distress and dimension. It's just a pretty light coat. And then taking my sanding block, I just wanted to distress the edges a little bit. Again, we're making it look a little bit old and worn. And I love that look. Now, snap. Like magic, 2 of them. 2 are done. Now these wall decals from Dollarama are gorgeous. I love them. I know that they come in a brighter color too, but I love this muted. It's like a taupey gray, light purple maybe color. And we're going to use the calla lilies on one side. And then I'm not sure what the other flower is called, but it is absolutely beautiful. Maybe it looks kind of, it's not really a poppy, but I'm not sure what it is. But we're going to use that on the other one. So this is going to be a set of 2. And they actually stick so well to these signs. Like, you don't have to put any extra glue on there. You can hardly even tell that they are wall decals because you can't really see the edges. They're nice and clear. They go on super smooth. Oh, I am absolutely in love with them. Now, this quote is my absolute favorite. I must have flowers always and always. And Claude Monet said that. It's one of his most famous quotes, and I just think it's absolutely beautiful. So I printed this off with my Cricut, and we're going to put the beginning of the quote on one of the signs. That's why I say it's a set of 2. So the first part of the quote will go on the one side, and then the other quote will obviously go on the other sign. This is such a simple DIY, and I really think it just makes such a huge impact, and it's beautiful and high-end looking. It could be something that you bought at, Home Sense, or, a really nice home decor store. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. Oh, they're so pretty. Everybody, DIY number 3. Now, I got this bamboo cutting board at Dollarama. I am telling you, pick some up. They are such high quality. They're super thick. They're really like a great size. Oh, they're amazing. And my plan here, I had watered down some of my chalk paint here, and I was just going to do a whitewash on the bamboo, but when I was done, I didn't really like how it looked with the bamboo stripes on it. So I just decided to just paint the whole thing white, and then and I used I think a couple of coats of this white paint to cover the whole thing up. Not 100% sure why I'm using such a small brush in that situation, but it did the job. And then, of course, taking my sanding block, we're going to go around all the edges to stress it out. Now, I found these little handles at my local thrift store, and I'm going to spray paint them with this silver from Rust-Oleum. Now, I did take it outside and actually spray paint them, but through the magic of television, shazam, just like that. Please take your stuff outside to spray paint. But they came up so nicely. And now I am going to take this darker gray chalk paint, and I'm just going to distress these handles down a little bit, give them kind of a antique-y look. I didn't want them to be a super bright silver, so I'm just going to take my chippy brush here and just dab it. Give it kind of that galvanized look that everyone seems to be going for on YouTube here. And you don't need a lot, just a little bit of dabbing. Dab, 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 dab. And you want to get the sides as well, just to make sure that everything is all nice and covered and galvanized looking. And then I did take that Parisian gray again and went over that a little bit. And they just look awesome. The handles look amazing. They look nice and galvanized. Look at that. Fantastic. And here we're just, measuring up to see where I'm actually going to put my handles down. So I'm just marking it off with my pencil, the top and the bottom of each one of the handles, so that when I come back, when I'm gluing them, I put them on nice and straight. So because this is a tray, I am using some super glue, and I will be putting some hot glue on there just to get that instant hold. Now these have ridges on the back, where the screw goes in and whatnot. So I just put the super glue along the edges of the underside of these handles. On both the top and the bottom. Sorry, my big head is in the way there. And of course, a little bit of hot glue on there for that instant hold on the top and the bottom. And just line it up with your pencil marks there. Get rid of any hot glue strings that might be left behind. Hold it down for a couple of seconds. And then do the same with the other handle. Okay, again with these wall decals. Oh, you guys, please grab them. They're so beautiful. And I'm taking this one that looks like a branch. And of course, just peel it off and just stick it on the one side of the tray. Making sure you're lining it up to exactly where you want it. Obviously, it took me a couple of tries here, but that's okay. The stickiness is amazing on these. And just smooth it down like butter. And again, with my Cricut, I use the phrase La vita è bella. So in Italian, that means life is beautiful. And I did post this on I think it was a Dollarama page, and someone did point out to me that the accent on the E is going the wrong way, and I'm so sorry for anybody who speaks Italian. I'm lucky that I don't have any friends who speak Italian, so no one will notice that, but I'm so sorry I got that accent wrong. And then I just added that little butterfly. I just felt that it just needed a little extra. Now, taking this hard coat Mod Podge, I gave the whole thing a coat. Now, I kind of wish I would have done this before I put the handles on, because then I could have coated the entire thing. It was a little tricky to get underneath the handles. I think I managed pretty well, but that hard coat is really good, very waterproof for this tray. You guys, oh, these DIYs, I'm telling ya, absolutely gorgeous. I just love all of them. I can't even decide which one is my favorite. Maybe you can tell me which one is your favorite in the comments down below. And while you're down there, if you could do me a solid, tap that like button, maybe subscribe, tell your friends, all of that jazz. So thank you again so much for watching. I really loved making these. Oh, I just can't get over it, how pretty they are. Stay tuned for the gag reel. Bye, guys.
No. No.
And go. Hi, everybody.
No.
Okay. Okay, shush. Shush, shush.
I'm going.
Shush or boosh. So today we're going to be...
Why? Why today?
So with that being said, let's just jump right into the first DIY.